Hey Daniel, have you had a chance to look at the new book on Eritrea's liberation struggle?
You mean Eritrea's liberation struggle, 1969 to 1981 and beyond? Yeah, I just started reading it. It's actually the second volume in a series. The first one covered Eritrean history up to 1968, right?
Exactly. That first volume, The Dynamics of an Unfinished African Dream, laid the groundwork tracing ancient history, the early peaceful efforts, and how Eritreans, after exhausting all options, finally united in 1961 to take up arms against Ethiopian rule.
And the odds were stacked against them. Facing one of the strongest armies in sub-Saharan Africa wasn't exactly an easy start. Not at all. By 1965, the Liberation Army was split into 5 military zones, but instead of making things better, it worsened tensions, ethnic, regional, and religious. By 1968, the movement had splintered into 3 factions. That internal division set the stage for the next phase, which is what this new book dives into, the decade from 1969 to 1981, a critical period marked by flux, attempts at unity, deepening internal rivalries, ideological divides, and increasing outside interference.
In fact, 1969 saw a brief unification of the military zones, but that collapsed within months. The decade was marked by national congresses, major military victories, and a significant push for democratic mass movements and elected leadership.
But things took a dark turn in the late 70s, didn't they?
Yes, especially in 1978. That's when Ethiopia's military regime got backing from the Soviet Union, Cuba, and South Yemen, allowing them to retake key towns. And then came the civil wars, the first from 1972 to 1974 between the ELF and its splinters, and the second from 1980 to 1981, when the EPLF and TPLF pushed the ELF into exile in Sudan.
That shift changed everything. The EPLF became dominant, and that's when Isaias Afwerki began rising to power. It's chilling to think that the roots of today's dictatorship were laid right there.
Exactly. The book is deliberate in highlighting how the ELF's contributions, both social and military, have been overshadowed by the EPLF's narrative. It tries to present a more balanced and critical account. It digs into internal power struggles, ideology, the influence of Sudan, TPLF, and even solidarity groups abroad.
Yeah, and it doesn't shy away from criticizing how even scholars and activists ignored warning signs. Mohamed Kheir Omer referred to it as a sinister reverse side of EPLF discipline, and Kjetil Tronvold demonstrated how the EPLF effectively managed their image for foreigners. People saw what they were meant to see.
The book's structure really helps. It has 10 parts and 23 chapters. Everything from Nenan Elaminan, the Menki reform, to the Razse coup of 1982.
And it ends with a sober reflection. What went wrong? What we can learn. A warning against letting noble causes turn into authoritarian ends. Exactly. The message is powerful, emphasizing resilience, critical thinking, and the principle that the end should never justify the means. It's not just history, it's a lesson for any movement. For Eritrea, and far beyond.